Just when everyone thought the iPhone had finally peaked, leaks are coming out that change absolutely everything. If you're sitting there with an iPhone 15, or even planning to buy the iPhone 16 or 17, you need to stop and listen very closely. You might be walking right into a trap. We're talking about the kind of upgrade that makes every single phone before it look ancient instantly. Apple is reportedly getting ready to rewrite the rulebook, not just for how the phone looks, but for when you can even buy it. If you think the current lineup is confusing, wait until you hear what is coming with the iPhone 18. We have fresh leaks straight from the supply chain that reveal the future of the dynamic island, a brand new Air model, and a completely new release schedule that is going to upset a lot of loyal fans. This is not just a spec bump. This is a revolution. Let's dive right into the display, because this is where the biggest visual changes are happening. According to a new report from Digital Chat Station, a very reliable source for early prototyping news, Apple is currently testing 4 different models for the iPhone 18 lineup. The screen sizes are getting very specific and very interesting. First, let's look at the base model. The standard iPhone 18 is reportedly going to feature a 6.27-inch display. This is a safe, comfortable size for most people. But here is the massive news that we have been waiting for. The standard iPhone 18 is finally expected to use LTPO technology. For those who don't speak tech, LTPO allows for a variable refresh rate. This means the standard, basic iPhone will finally have that buttery, smooth 120 Hz ProMotion display. The Pro models have had this for years, and it is honestly embarrassing that the base models haven't had it yet. But with the iPhone 18, that gap finally closes. You get the speed. You get the smoothness. However, if you buy this base model, you might still feel like you're looking at an older phone. That is because visually, the standard iPhone 18 is expected to keep the current dynamic island design. So, you get the performance, but you don't necessarily get the new look. Things get much more exciting when we look at the new addition to the family. Rumors have been swirling about a slim iPhone or an iPhone Air for a long time. This latest leak solidifies it. The iPhone Air 2 is tipped to arrive with a 6.55-inch screen. This sits in a perfect sweet spot. It is bigger than the standard model, but it is smaller and more manageable than the massive Max models we are used to. Like the standard model, this will also have that LTPO 120 Hz screen. But the main selling point here isn't the specs. It is the form factor. Apple is pushing hard to make this device incredibly thin. We're hearing rumors of it being around 5 millimeters thick. That is almost impossible to imagine for a modern smartphone with a battery and cameras. This phone is designed for the people who want a big screen but hate the heavy, brick-like feel of the Pro Max phones. It is the lifestyle iPhone. It focuses on aesthetics and comfort over raw power. However, like the base model, the Air 2 will likely keep the familiar dynamic island. It will look modern, but it won't look revolutionary. If you want the real revolution, you have to look at the Pro models. This is where Apple is spending all its money and engineering talent. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are where the design shifts dramatically. The smaller Pro is testing a 6.27-inch screen, matching the standard model. But the massive iPhone 18 Pro Max is testing a 6.86-inch panel. These are huge, immersive displays. But the size isn't the headline. The headline is the death of the dynamic island. Since the iPhone 14 Pro, we have lived with that pill-shaped cutout. It was a clever way to hide sensors, but it still blocked your content. Well, for the iPhone 18 Pro series, that island is finally shrinking. The report states that Apple is figuring out how to move the Face ID system underneath the display glass. This is the holy grail technology we have been waiting for. By burying the Face ID sensors under the screen, Apple doesn't need that wide cutout anymore. Instead, the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected to feature just a small, circular punch hole for the front-facing camera. This is a massive design change. It gives you way more screen space and a much cleaner look. It effectively kills the pill shape as we know it. This creates a huge UAL gap in the lineup. Think about it. If you're holding an iPhone with a tiny dot at the top, everyone around you will know instantly. They will know you have the latest and greatest Pro model. It becomes a massive status symbol. It visually separates the haves from the have-nots in the Apple ecosystem. But the surprises do not stop at the screen. The leak suggests a radical change in Apple's traditional launch rhythm. For over a decade, we have been trained to expect new iPhones in September like clockwork. But Apple might be breaking that tradition completely. The report says the company could introduce its high-end models first. We're talking about the iPhone 18 Pro and the iPhone 18 Pro Max arriving in late 2026. This strategy focuses entirely on the premium market. They want to capture the holiday season with the most expensive phones. Then, the standard models would follow later. The standard iPhone 18 might not arrive until the spring of 2027. There might also be a possible iPhone 18 Plus or a budget entry at that time. As for the iPhone Air 2, there is no specific time frame yet, but it would likely slot in somewhere between these two waves. This split release strategy is incredibly risky. It means if you want the basic phone, you have to wait months after the Pro launch. But from Apple's perspective, it is genius. It lets them dominate the news cycle twice a year instead of just once. It also forces early adopters to buy the more expensive Pro models because those will be the only ones available during the holiday shopping season. It is a clever business move, and it is very aggressive. Now let's switch gears and look at what is powering these beasts. On the hardware front, the Pro models are tipped to debut the A20 Pro chip. This is not just a small speed bump. The A20 Pro is expected to be built on a 2-nanometer process. In the world of silicon, smaller is better. Moving to 2 nanometers means the transistors are packed tighter together. This results in significantly more power and, more importantly, much better energy efficiency. An A20 chip on a 2-nanometer process would likely blow every other smartphone processor out of the water. Whether you're gaming, editing video, or running heavy AI tasks directly on your phone, this chip will not break a sweat. It ensures that the device is future-proof for years to come. The cameras are also getting some serious love. Apple is reportedly testing a variable aperture system for the iPhone 18 Pro series. If you're into photography, you know how huge this is. Currently, iPhone lenses have a fixed aperture. This means the hole that lets in light stays the same size forever. A variable aperture allows the lens to physically open and close, just like a professional DSLR camera. This gives you physical control over the depth of field. You can get real, natural background blur, actual bokeh, without relying entirely on software portrait modes. It also helps tremendously in low light. Combined with improved image sensors, the iPhone 18 Pro is shaping up to be a pocket cinema camera even more advanced than its predecessors. But we have talked about the screen, the chips, and the cameras. What about the biggest mystery? What about the iPhone that is supposed to change everything? I'm talking about the iPhone Fold. For years, people called it a myth. They said Apple would never do it. But the leaks for late 2026 are getting very specific. The report suggests that Apple's first foldable will not just be a side project. It is going to be the centerpiece of their new high-end strategy. Imagine an iPhone that acts like a regular phone when closed with a 5.5-inch outer display. But then you open it up, and suddenly you have a 7.8-inch workspace. It is almost the size of an iPad mini. Apple is reportedly obsessed with one thing: the crease. They do not want that ugly line in the middle of the screen that most foldables have. They want to eliminate it. They are allegedly using a combination of titanium and liquid metal for the hinge to make it smooth and durable. If they pull this off, the iPhone Fold will be the most premium device they have ever made. But it will come with a catch. The rumors say it might start at $2,000. That is a lot of money. But for the people who want the future in their pocket, it might be worth it. It is expected to use the same A20 Pro chip as the 18 Pro models, making it a powerhouse for multitasking. You could run 3 apps at once. You edit a video on one half of the screen and check your emails on the other. This is the one more thing we have been waiting for. Now let's look at the bigger picture of this launch. Why is Apple splitting the release? Why are the standard models coming in the spring? This is a massive business move. Usually, Apple makes all its money in the last 3 months of the year, the holiday season. By launching the Pro, the Max, and the Fold in September, they capture the big spenders and the enthusiasts. But then sales usually dip in the spring. People start waiting for the next phone. By moving the standard iPhone 18 and the iPhone Air 2 to the spring of 2027, Apple fixes that slump. They create a second wave of excitement. They get a second massive injection of cash right when things usually slow down. It also gives them more time. Building a 2-nanometer chip is hard and expensive. By focusing on the Pro models first, they can ensure the supply chain is ready and perfect the yield. It also creates a clearer hierarchy. In the past, the base iPhone felt like a slightly worse version of the Pro. Now, it feels like a different category entirely. The Pro models are for professionals and tech lovers. The Standard and Air models are for the everyday user who wants a beautiful, fast phone without the extreme price tag. This split might be annoying for some, but it is a sign that the iPhone lineup is growing up. It is becoming a diverse family of products rather than just one size fits all. So, what is the mistake you might make? The mistake is buying a new iPhone right before this massive shift happens, without understanding what you are missing. If you buy an iPhone 16 or 17 expecting it to hold its value, you might be disappointed when the 18 Pro comes out with a completely new face. Or, the mistake might be buying a heavy Pro Max today when the featherweight iPhone Air 2 is just around the corner. The market is about to fragment, and you need to know exactly which device fits your needs. In my opinion, this is the most exciting leak we have seen in 5 years. The move to under-display Face ID is the visual change we needed to make phones feel futuristic again. And the iPhone Air 2? That sounds like the sleeper hit of the decade. Most people don't need raw power. They need battery life and comfort. If Apple can deliver a super thin, big-screen phone, they're going to sell millions of them. The foldable is risky at $2,000. But it proves Apple is still willing to take big swings. If you're an Apple fan, start saving your money now, because late 2026 is going to be expensive. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the future of tech.